Hello, it's Ghost Dimension. We are back again today. It's Sean. I'm out live with Paul and Jane, and we are on location. And we thought we'd catch up with everybody here and see how you all are while we discuss a new topic tonight, which is ghost pets. Do they exist? Well, that's what we're going to find out tonight, and that's what we're going to discuss. So, let me turn the music down. Let's introduce our people tonight. Hello, Paul.
Good evening, Sean.
Hello, Jane.
Good evening, Sean.
So, Paul, you asked about spirit pets. Let's talk about it.
I've had a theory about pets coming back, or animals, spirits coming back in general. My parents have had a few dogs, and they believe that they've come back after they've passed on. And I do believe that spirit animals do come back, and I think it's all to do with emotions, love and hate and what have you. Pets become part of the family, so we don't just look at them as objects. You know, we love them. They become attached to us as we become attached to them, and I think it only makes sense that they feel the same kind of draw to come back after death, where they've been happy, and stay where they've been happy, stay with the family and what have you. Emotions are very strong. You know, love is a very strong emotion, hate's a very strong emotion, and I think, you know, certain animals, you know, you look at cows, you don't see the spirit of cows, you don't see the spirit of, I don't know, worms, that kind of thing.
Spiders.
Oh, yeah. Well, if they bloody existed, I'd top myself. But, you know, where things have had love and caring, I do believe that they come back to that, because we would. That's how we theorise that the spirit of dead people come back. They come back to where either they were happy, or there's unfinished business, or they're full of hate and fear to cross over. So, you know, they come back because it's a familiar place to them, or familiar people. And I do believe it's the same with animals. They come back because that's where they were loved and that's where they were happiest. So I do believe that it's all tied to emotions.
I believe you could be right there, Paul, and maybe, just maybe, on some of the locations we go to, that's what we experience, is spirit pets.
Yeah. Well, there's one place that I can think of straight off the top of my head that's got a ghost cat, and it's a haunted castle in Ireland, and there is a portrait of this black cat, and if you turn that portrait either upside down or to face the wall, this cat's seen, and it can sometimes be a portent to bad things happening. But this cat went through a torturous event. It was actually tortured and killed, and I'm not saying that animals know vengeance in such a way, but that traumatic event may have kept that spirit of the cat there, because it does feel like there was an injustice done to it. So just the same as a pet that felt love in a family environment, this cat could feel like, you know, I want some kind of retribution. You know, I'm going to stay here because what happened to me, nobody ever paid, perhaps. Again, it's all theory, but I do know people that have experienced the passing of pets, and soon after they've experienced that pet, either they've seen it, heard it, felt it. I know my parents have. I saw one of the pet dogs not long after it had died. My sister's boyfriend at the time, he came in. They'd been out somewhere and looked at the top of the stairs, and there was the dog that had just passed. And he did a double take and said, "I've just seen such a," you know, but he knew she'd already died. So, and I believe Jane's got a story as well.
Jane, tell us what's happened. What's going on?
I had my beloved pet Merlin put down 2 weeks ago. On the day that it got put down, my son at night time fell asleep on the sofa, and woke up early hours, bolt upright, hearing a scratching noise and like a chain noise hitting the laminated floor. My dog Merlin used to scratch, and obviously I've got laminated flooring, so his chain that he had round his neck used to hit the floor. He told me this, we'd been away, he told me this when I'd come back from a break that we'd had, and that night, the first time I got back, he wasn't there. It felt a bit awkward, and I'd gone to bed, and about 3 o'clock in the morning I heard the same noise, but that was upstairs on the top of the landing. And I said, "Is that you, Merlin?" I called out to him, and I said to him, "If that's you now, come on, settle down." And then it went very, very quiet. So yes, I do believe that pets can come back and
visit. And I
yeah.
believe you're right, Jane. I had an experience many years ago where a similar thing happened, but I knew that a dog had been put down at that moment. I didn't know it was going to be put down, but at the moment it was put down, I felt weird and lightheaded, and then I knew something had happened. Hello to Patricia. I know we can see a message there saying you finally get to hear live. Interesting. Well, it's a very interesting subject. And we were saying just before, some of the locations that we go to, not always are these spirits of people.
No, animals as well. I mean, there's plenty of people out there that's lost animals that they loved and cherished. So yeah, and I think the animals come back to let you know that they were happy and they're still there with us.
Yeah, I've been to a few places where reports of animals have been seen and felt, and people have, during investigations, they felt like something's brushed past the legs, and on one occasion, this I have to put this in, it wasn't actually a ghost, but it was quite funny. We were at a location in North Wales, but a cat had been seen at this place, and during a séance, we saw it on night vision camera, a cat actually did enter the room where the séance was going on, and then decided to jump on somebody's lap, which obviously set everybody off screaming because it was a pitch black room.
God.
Person that the cat had jumped on absolutely freaked, and somebody said, when they realised it was actually an animal, they said, was it a dead cat or a live cat? Which, at the time nobody really took the time to find out. They were just too busy freaking out. But it was just a little bit coincidental that there was the spirit of a cat supposedly seen in that place, and then a live one just strolled in.
Well, it would make sense, Paul, because they say dogs and cats and animals can sense spirits around.
True.
And they're often, especially the pets I've had, can sit there in the corner and stare at, somebody in the house.
Mm.
And so why wouldn't they come back?
Absolutely.
After death?
I mean, they are far more sensitive. They've got better sense of hearing, smell. They certainly see realms that we don't see. So, yeah, it's like animals and children. They're far more open to it than we are as we get older and more programmed.
I think my old boy, he was 14 and a half years old, so I mean, he knew his time was up. You could see it in his face, and then having him put to sleep, but then coming back to virtually to say, I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
And and he loved you as much as you loved him, so he would come back.
Yeah, well, he wasn't on his own. I mean, all the family was around him. They was all with him when he passed over. So, I mean, we went very peacefully. But I do think that he did come back that night to see my son because, Robert was with him right to the end to say, it's okay, I'm fine. And then, like I say, I was away, and when I come back, he'd come to tell me that he was fine and, not to worry, everything's all right.
Well, it's a very interesting topic, and maybe if you're listening and you've experienced something similar, let us know. But it's a strange thing.
Yeah, I mean, they've got souls, and anybody that says that animals are dumb and they don't feel pain, I think they're talking out of their... Anyway,
backside.
Yeah, that's the one. Of course they do. I mean, they know love. They don't know anything other than love and compassion. I think you very rarely find an animal that hates you, and it's the same with people. These sort of things they're bred into you, so they're innocent and they know love.
But they say animals can't cry, but I've seen
Yeah.
when I had my previous dog before Merlin put to sleep, female Cassie, every time my house phone rang, he'd sit and howl, and then you'd look at him and there'd be tears running down his eyes. So I think they've got feelings, a lot of feelings.
They've all got feelings, haven't they? Yeah. Every animal's got some sort of emotion.
Absolutely.
If it's fear, you can see it in an animal's eyes, dogs or cats or whatever.
Yeah.
If it's love, you can see it in the animal's eyes.
I mean, if you think about it, if they didn't know fear, when an animal's being hunted, they wouldn't run. That's logic, that's common sense, They run because they're afraid. They know if they don't, something bad's going to happen. So that is common sense. They obviously know what fear is. Equally, they know what love is, because when you're kind to an animal, you only have to... The tail's wagging, they're jumping up at you. They love being loved, don't they? And I think that love continues regardless of whether you're being a human or an animal. That love continues through this life into the next, and it still brings them back to this life until it's your time to join them.
And it's like humans, though, isn't it? I mean, when we pass over, a lot of the time, we don't know that we've gone, so that's when, we come back and we trying to find us feet. Same with pets, really. I mean, you take a dog to a vet, like we go to the doctors ourselves, but you take a dog to a vet to be put to sleep. Now, they don't know a lot of the time that they've passed, so they're only coming back home, because they don't know nothing different.
Yeah, true.
As long as spiders don't come back.
Yeah.
I don't mind spiders. I'm okay with spiders.
Yeah. They're all yours, love.
Well, I think, what we did there? I think we solved the debate that animals do come back after they die.
Well, we've certainly opened up a new can of worms, but are they spirit worms?
Are these spirit worms? And do spirit worms come back? Well, that's another debate for another day. And hopefully one that we can solve. And our time is coming up on the podcast. But listen, thank you so much if you've been speaking to us. If you've joined in, I know Patricia's there. No spiders for Patricia, she says.
I'm with you, love.
Everybody's
no
with you.
Spiders.
I'm not.
Jane's not with you, but we're with you. We don't like spiders. But yeah, listen guys, thank you very much for listening. If you are listening after we've broadcast, you can still get in touch via our social media pages and speak to us. But for now, from all of us at Ghost Dimension, thank you for listening, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.